Welcome to Yoga with Megan. We're going to do a practice today to release the psoas. So not to stretch the psoas, but to release it. There are a couple of props you will need today. I have two choices on balls. This is your average tennis ball, but I buy these little pinky bouncy balls at Walgreens and places like that. It's a little more soothing and gentle than using a tennis ball. So if you have something that's a little softer, you can use that. You'll also want a block today. If you don't have blocks available, a large book or a stack of books can substitute. It's just something we're going to be standing on. And then also a strap or some sort of tie that has a closure that will stay closed. Okay, so take a moment, get your props, pause the video if you need to, and then we're going to go down onto our backs. We start in a position called Constructive Rest. So if I lift up my leg and bring it to a 90-degree angle, so hip, knee, and ankle aligned, and just let the foot fall down, that's where I want to be. I'll do that same thing with the other leg and let it come down. The idea here is to let your spine find its most neutral position. And I'm just starting to sense my back body, where it's touching the floor, where it's lifting away from the floor. If you feel you need to move at all, please feel free to do that. But you want to relax the back body into the floor, and I just want you to begin to visualize the top connecting point of the psoas. So it's actually two muscles that run along the spine. And if we think of our 12th vertebrae in the back, which is right about where my hands are, it's where your diaphragm also connects, your engine of your breathing. So one of the nice ways to begin to relax the psoas is just through your breathing. Feel your breath coming in your nose and through the back of the throat and into the sternum, and then begin to direct it into that space in the lower lobes of the lungs. So you can close your eyes and visualize the space around the 12th vertebrae in the center of your back, and just breathe into that space. If it helps, you can visualize a color, a temperature, even a sound. If at any time you need to move because you feel discomfort, please feel free to do that. Otherwise, we remain still but alert and awake. So this is the upper attachment of the psoas, which is about the size of your fist. And then it comes down through, along the edges of your spine, attaches to all 5 of your lumbar vertebrae in your low back, and then comes out through the front. So I want you to take a moment. You can even take your fingers and gently touch the space in the front of the pelvis. Just explore this area. Feel the attachment points where the sit bones are in your inner thighs. And even though we physically can't breathe into this space, notice the movement as you're breathing in and the diaphragm expands. It presses down into the organs, and you might feel this expansion through the low abdomen as well. And as you exhale, feel that gentle contraction of the lower abdomen. All this time while I'm breathing, what I'm trying to do is relax all the muscles in my legs. So notice if you're tensing your muscles. What we want to do is the more the muscles relax, the bones, your alignment of the bones can find its most natural, neutral, comfortable position. So we're letting the muscles redesign themselves around the bones. And you're just breathing, visualizing this space from the upper attachment of the psoas to the lower attachment point. Take about 5 more full breaths, inhaling, feeling the expansion through all sides of your body, 360 degrees. And exhale as if all of the bones of your body are just releasing into the earth. And then we're just going to do a gentle warm-up. We'll be bringing this pose in later. But if you think of your tailbone and your low back, your lumbar spine, as the tailbone presses down towards the floor, the lumbar spine is going to lift slightly. So we'll say this is a pelvic tilt or an arch of the low back. As I breathe out, I'm going to gently let the low back and low ribs come into the floor, and the tailbone will lift. So a curl of the low back. You can also think of it from the standpoint of your pelvis. Touch your pelvic rim. Feel it tilt towards the toes and upward on the inhale. and down towards the floor and towards your shoulders on the exhale. It doesn't have to be a big move. In fact, small, soft, and sweet is better. You're just starting to experience some movement from the pelvic bowl. And inhale as the belly rises, you'll feel the expansion through the belly as the back tightens just slightly, not forcing anything. As you exhale, the back releases and we'll feel those lower abdominal muscles draw inward. Nice easeful movement. Just getting things started. And then I do like to relax the back a little bit more before we get started. So we're going to take our legs off the floor for this next one. I want my tailbone to stay long though, so it's like I'm reaching my tailbone towards the front of the mat. I'm going to hang my lower legs, take my knees right over my hips, and take my hands to the back of the thighs. If this is a strain on your arms, you can put a strap to the back of your thighs. This is called Apanasana, and Apana is the downward energy in your body. So I'm going to do the movement with my arms. As I exhale and empty the belly, I'm going to draw the thighs towards me, but keep my tailbone on the floor. As I inhale, I'm going to press the thighs away. It's a very simple movement, but just feeling that sense of lengthening through your tailbone. My leg muscles still completely relaxed. Exhaling, as the belly empties, I draw the thighs in, still reaching tailbone. Inhale, pressing away. It's a nice easeful warm-up. We'll do 2 more of those. Inhale, legs away. Exhale, use the strength of the arms to draw them towards you. Inhale, pressing the thighs away with the hands. And exhale, come back in. All right. Take your feet to the floor. We're going to roll. I'm going to roll to my right side, use my hands to come up. And now the ball. So the first place we're going to go with the ball, I'm going to take the pink one because I'm going to be a little bit sweeter today, is right to the sits bone. I'm going to extend my left leg, place my right foot on the floor, and the ball is going to go underneath my left sits bone. If you need to feel around there, find that sits bone and think of it like a fulcrum, and you're going to roll the ball around on that left sits bone. I'm going to use my arms a little bit. So this is one of the points of attachment for many of your ligaments, including right where the psoas comes in. Be really gentle and sensitive meaning sensory perception. You're staying aware. So I'm going to keep my eyes open looking at you, but oftentimes when I do this, my eyes are closed. So all of my awareness is down in that point. If I find something more sensitive, I might just sit on it and be still. And I'm not sitting on the tip of the bone itself. I'm going around the bone. So drawing those circles around the bone. It's a really nice way to get ourselves to ground. It's a myofascial release, so what you want to watch for is that you're not tightening all the muscles in the legs. Keep your leg muscles relaxed, your face muscles as well. And just exploring. It's where we draw some of the energy of the earth up into our body. Okay. If you're making funny faces right now while you do this, that's not unusual. You can even make sounds. I encourage you to make some sounds. Some grunting is always good. And then we'll relax that one. Take the ball out. Maybe sit with both legs long, even just for 3 to 5 breaths. Close your eyes, be aware of that base of the spine. So I think of our 2 sit bones and our tailbone as our pedestal that holds us upright. Notice if you feel a difference in the 2 sides. Yeah. And then we'll take the ball. It'll go into the right sit bone, so I'm going to put it under there. That leg will extend. Left leg will come in. I'm also supporting myself with my hands, so I make sure I'm not rounding into the spine. I want to stay up tall, because that's one of the things is that the, so I'm starting my rolling. But the psoas is a hip flexor. So hip flexion is like a seated position, right? So it's also rounding of the spine. So we want to keep that long neutral spine. The psoas is what we call the muscle of the soul. So it not only functions as a muscle, and unfortunately it's not supposed to function as a muscle as often as it does, but it functions emotionally. It's the go-to muscle for the sympathetic nervous system, or the fight or flight. So not only physical trauma or difficulty, I'm losing my ball here, but any emotional trauma can cause the psoas to shorten and tighten, as well as sitting. So I'm just exploring, and hopefully at home you're quiet and you're listening to your body. And there's lots to explore in here today. All right. And I'm noticing in my body when I start to tighten my muscles. By the way, I should have said this on the first side, but if you find you're tightening your muscles too much, you can take this block or a pillow or something and put it under your knee. So if you feel like your knee is hyperflexing and it's just hard to relax your thigh muscle, support the knee. Okay. And then I'm going to come off of that one. Again, I like to take the time in between the postures. Sit up tall and straight, let the legs extend, and just feel into all of my awareness into the base of my spine. I visualize that tripod between my tailbone and my two sit bones, and how the spine can just release into the floor, into those bones. Okay, so we're going to get up and do some more ball rolling, but this time standing. You're going to also need the block. So getting up to stand, I'm going to turn sideways to you, and let's see, I'll do the left foot first since I did the left sit bone. So I'm going to take the ball, put it down. Like I said, you can use a tennis ball too. I just like the way that these are sort of cushy. And the ball is going to go right under my heel, my calcaneus, my heel bone. I want to align my feet so that my hips, my knees, and my ankles are in a straight line. So similar to our constructive rest pose in the alignment of the bones, but now I'm standing. You can use a wall. In fact, you could turn towards the wall and take both hands to the wall, or just one hand to the wall, but I want you to feel secure and safe, like you're not trying to hold yourself up. I'm going to relax onto the ball mounts of the feet, and then I'm going to press that ball down. I'm going to swoosh it, and I like to do it to my breath. So on exhalation, I'm coming down. On inhalation, I'm riding the ball up. So you can see this hip lifts a little bit more than the other. And then I exhale, ride it down, and inhale, ride it up, exhale, smush it down. So if I'm not teaching it and I'm doing this at home on my own, my eyes are often closed so I can connect more with the muscles in my legs, with the bones in the leg, keeping the toes soft and relaxed, and this awareness point of your heel. So your feet are the jewels of your spine. They're very important in your proprioception, telling your body where you are in space. And the more your body understands where you are, the less work the psoas has to do to keep you upright. It's the only muscle that connects your trunk to your legs. And then we'll relax. I'm going to take the ball into the center of my foot. And this is where we get some surprises, perhaps. We also get to play a little bit more. So into the center, I'm going to keep my toes relaxed. So watch that my toes don't shoot up, and just roll around and explore that soft fascial tissue in the center of the foot. So it's really just more of an exploration. So before we work with the psoas, we want to ground. We want to ground into our sit bones and into our feet. Open those spaces up. And again, you're noticing any sensitive areas. If you find anything that's super sensitive and talking to you, communicating with you, you can just stop and hold and relax. I also have to watch myself, because if I don't, I tend to round when I'm doing this. I want to keep that neutral, upright spine, crown of the head reaching up. Rolling around, and then the next position we do is my heel will come to the floor, and the ball is going to go underneath the ball of my foot. Again, aligning my toes. My feet are about as wide as my hips. I'm going to relax the toes, and now I'm going to press the ball down again, smush the ball, and then ride it up. This will give you a nice ankle stretch too. So press it down and ride it up, trying to keep my knees in line with my ankles, so watching the knees don't fall inward. And just letting yourself go into your, remember, it's the sensory motor system, right? So the motor is the movement part. The sensory part is your awareness and energy. And being an energetic being, we pay close attention to what we feel as we do this, because the psoas is about the energetics of the body. as well as the muscular portion. One more time. And then the last one, I just take the ball, and sometimes I'll even go down here like I just had a pedicure. Spread my toes out around the ball as if I was trying to pick it up, so I'm getting into my toes. Relax the muscles in the legs as much as possible and just sort of squeeze. You can see my toe knuckles get all white. Squeeze and release the ball a little bit as if you're trying to pick it up. All right. And then a lovely thing to do, once again, just like we did with the sit-bones after I finish, is to come into what we call mountain pose, Tadasana in yoga, and I'm going to align my body and just close my eyes if I feel like I'm not going to tip, and feel the difference in the 2 feet, but not only the feet, the ankles, the knees, the thighs, the hips. Notice, does one leg feel longer or shorter? Does one feel heavier or lighter? There's more sensory awareness into your left foot. And then we'll switch sides. So I'll turn towards the wall for a little extra support. The ball is going to go underneath the right heel. I'm going to relax my toes as much as possible, align my toes, feet as wide as the hips, smush the ball on the way down by bending into my knee. So it's a little active through the muscles as we come down, and then ride it back up. So it's not going to help you if you're thinking about what you're planning for dinner tonight. You want to stay present in your foot, in that right foot. The importance of the feet and understanding the body's space. And smushing it down and riding it up. And I notice with me on this side, I tend to try to buckle into the knee more and fall, let my hip come sideways. So those are things we start to catch the more we do these. Then I'm going to switch, take the ball into the center of the foot. And we get to just play around a little bit, some interaction in the center of that foot into the soft tissue. Rolling around, just try to keep the toes relaxed. Watch that we're not tightening all the muscles in the foot as you roll around. So just interactive play within your foot. I can tell I rolled this one before we started the video, and I can tell a huge difference. This one feels open and calm and relaxed. The other one, there was a lot more sensitivity. It was like cheating before we did this video. Okay, and then I'm going to switch and take it right underneath the ball of the foot. Again, aligning my toes. I can use the wall, or you can even turn towards the wall, both hands to the wall. Relax into the toes, and you're on your heel. Smush the ball on the way down. Ride it up. Trying to keep your hip, your knee, and your ankle in alignment. And really smush that ball. And you're not working to come back up. The ball's going to just release it. Feeling that through your ankle as well. And then one more down. All right. And last one for the foot. The ball goes around the toes. I can even go down there and spread them out a little bit. Still holding the wall. And this is just sort of a squeeze the ball with the toes as if I was trying to pick up the ball with my toes and releasing. I'm listening to all the birds outside today, which is really nice because this is the first 60-degree day we've had in Wisconsin. We've had a very cold spring, record-breaking cold. Just squeezing that. Bring some of that good juju into my body as I do this. And then releasing. And once again, just take a moment. Align your ears over your shoulders, shoulders over your ribs, and ribs over your hips. Feel into both feet. You can even shift your weight side to side. Just let yourself feel. All right, so while we're standing, we're going to do one more movement for this one will actually go into the psoas. So I'm going to use a block. And actually, I want to do the left leg first. So I'm going to turn this way. The block is going to be my pedestal. I'm going to step onto the block with my right foot. And my left leg is towards, I want my hand to the wall again. My left leg is towards the wall. But just to show you from the outside, what you want to watch is that when you step off, you want to lift that left hip up to the height of the right hip, so don't let it drop. Lift so you're parallel through your hips, and then you're going to lift the foot up so the feet look like they're in the same position, and then take that left toe, spin it slightly inward, so this idea of your thigh bone rotating inward. And then I'd be facing the wall the other way, but I'm going to pedestal swing just very gently through this leg. So going back and forth. So think of your leg like a pendulum. And the top of the pendulum, the cord, is your psoas. And this is allowing free range of motion through that psoas, because if it's a hip flexor, which it is, then that's contracting the psoas to bring the leg forward. But as I swing it back, it's lengthening the psoas. And I'm not forcing this motion. I'm just feeling into it, letting it naturally occur. Like I said, if you don't have a block, you can stand on books. In fact, sometimes that's better because these blocks are a little bit smushy, so it takes more muscular energy to hold you up. If you have a more solid surface, that works well. And then just let the toes fall down and let that leg swing for a few moments. Again, this is another one we want to watch that you're not dropping your shoulders, or what often happens is the shoulders come back here. So keeping that alignment through your spine, and just think of that pendulum swing of your leg. I'll step off my pedestal. I always like that coming back and feeling in between the two sides. Wow. So if I were to describe to you right now, it feels like my left hip is about 2 inches higher than my right hip. Just an illusion. But we'll do the second side. So this time you're going to be standing on your left foot. I am going to stay facing you this way. Standing on your left foot, right foot, you want to lift up the hips so that 2 hip bones are parallel. What we say is your ASIS points, and then lift the foot up too so the foot is parallel to the floor. Turn your big toe slightly in, or your thigh bone in, and then that gentle pendulum swing. So think of the psoas running from the center of your spine all the way down through your lumbar spine, and letting it move through its range of motion from contraction forward to extension backward. And it does help to visualize. I'm not forcing it, I'm just doing a nice gentle swing, watching that my shoulders, my upper body stays still. The movement comes from my hip creases. Then I'll let the foot and the hip drop and just relax and just gently swing it a little bit. Let it lengthen, so let it lengthen out. It's more active when we flex the foot and turn the thigh in, and then I'm just letting it lengthen. Stepping off the block. All right. I'm going to come all the way back down. Because I don't have socks on and my mat is extra sticky. So if you have an extra sticky mat, you might want to fold it in half for this next part, because you're going to want your heels and your feet to slide easily. So that's what I'm going to do, is just fold this in half. I'm going to take my buttocks to the edge of the mat, come back down into the constructive rest pose. So remember, the hips and the knees and the ankles are aligned. And even here, just note if you feel any difference in the way your back is touching the floor. Notice the space underneath your low back, where your shoulder blades touch the floor, where your shoulders lift up off the floor. And then releasing into that. So the next one we do is back to that idea of getting the psoas to move through its range of motion. Just like any muscle, we want to do that. So I'm going to start with that, go back to the pelvic tilting. The inhalation is when the tailbone goes into the floor, I lift low back, low ribs. And the exhalation, gently releasing low back, low ribs, and drawing the navel center in. So you can think of expansion for the front body on inhale and a gentle contraction for the back body. And exhale, front body contracts, back body is long and released. So find that movement first, and then we're going to add on to it this time. You notice I like to keep my hands right in this space, just to keep my awareness down there. Your hands are your tools for your nervous system. So next time we're going to inhale, Lift low back, low ribs. And then as you exhale, we'll do right leg first, I guess, because I'm facing you that way. As you exhale, you're going to lift the right foot up and draw that leg towards you as you press the back into the floor. And then as I inhale, I'm going to take my heel to the floor, slide that leg long. It may not want to go all the way yet. So if you feel your low back really lift so much that there's discomfort, then just go part way out. Otherwise, we're going to extend the leg. And then as you exhale, press that low back into the floor. So still the pelvic tilting, you'll feel a nice stretch through the front of the thigh. Inhale, lift again. Exhale, press. Inhale, slide that leg back in. So we'll do that again together. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the thigh towards you. Inhale, slide the foot out as the low back, low ribs lift. Exhale, press low back, low ribs into the floor. Try to keep the leg muscles relaxed. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press down. So we just do a couple pelvic tiltings with that leg extended and then slide it back. We're going to do 2 more like this. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the thigh towards you. Inhale, slide the leg out. Lift the low back, low ribs. Keep the leg muscles relaxed. Exhale, low back, low ribs into the floor. Inhale, lift, so tilt the pelvis forward. Exhale, tilt the pelvis back. Slide it back. Inhale, lift, low back, low ribs. Exhale, bring the leg towards you. So if it's starting to feel good, instead of sliding it, you can keep the leg lifted and extend, but then you're still going to want to let it come down. Low back, lower ribs, press the floor. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, down. All right, slide it back. We're going to be going into the upper portion of the psoas more by getting into our side body muscles. Before that, before we add the arm in with the leg, just practice with just your arm. So my inhalation, I'm going to reach this arm up overhead. If it doesn't want to go all the way to the floor, that's okay, don't force it. Or if it's more comfortable for you to come from the side, you can do that. But the idea is to feel the connection point of the upper arm bone into the upper back. So think of your whole shoulder girdle coming through the center, your collarbones, and through your shoulder blade in the back. So when the arm comes overhead, I feel all of these muscles underneath the armpit stretching and lengthening. And just doing that a few times. So exhale the arm down. Inhale and reach. And you'll notice when I'm doing this, my low back is lifting up. Right? I'm letting it arch. And exhale, hand back down. Inhale, letting the spine flow the way it needs to get the arm over. And exhale back down. So now we're going to put those movements together. Inhale, low back, low ribs lift. Exhale, draw the thigh towards you. I'm going to inhale and extend the leg and extend the arm. So not only my low back, but my upper back is lifting. And then I'm going to exhale. Press the low back and upper back into the floor. Inhale, lift the back off the floor. We're focusing on the right side. Exhale, press it back down. And then inhale, slide the leg in, bring the arm back down. We'll do 2 more of those. Inhale, low back, low ribs lift. Exhale, draw the leg in. Inhale, you're going to extend the leg and the arm in opposite directions like you're reaching for something. Reach it up. Exhale, tilt into the floor. Inhale, lift the back, arch it away from the floor. Exhale, curl the back into the floor. Slide the foot back in and the arm down to your side. Sometimes I get too relaxed. 1 more. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the leg in. Inhale, extend leg and arm. Reach, but then as you exhale and press down, relax all the muscles in the arm and the leg. Inhale, feel that arch away from the floor. Exhale, release the low back and the ribs into the floor. Take your foot back, slide your hand back. Okay, so we're going to do the second side. You don't have to get up, you can stay right there where you are. And of course, there's always opportunity to do more of those. But now I'll be working with my left leg. Starting from the constructive rest position, and as we've done with any of the other postures, take that moment, and if you want to stay in constructive rest, do that. Encourage yourself to relax your leg muscles, but you can, if it's there for you, you can extend your legs and feel the difference in the fronts of the hip flexors here. If that left leg feels tighter, you might have noticed. For me right now, if my feet are on the floor, if I go to extend my right leg, there's no change in the position of my low back. But when I go to extend my left leg, that's more taut. So my back lifts a little bit. I can feel the low back lift. And that's that psoas contracting, not wanting to let go. So we'll do the second side. Release, find your neutral spine. So noticing if you have just that little bit of space in the low back. Relax your head and your neck and your jaws. Excuse me. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, the left leg is going to draw in towards your body. Inhale, slide the left leg out. So I start with the heel on the floor. Exhale, press low back, low ribs into the floor. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs, so arching the back. Exhale, low back, low ribs into the floor. Bring the leg back. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, curl, draw the leg in. Inhale, tilt and extend the leg. Exhale, curl. Inhale, tilt. Exhale, curl. Draw the leg back in. We'll do one more with just the leg. Inhale, lift the low back, low ribs, that tilting of the pelvis. Exhale, draw the leg in. Inhale, extend the leg. Low back, low ribs lift. And then as I exhale and press down, I feel that stretch through the front of my thigh, my inner groin. Inhale, lift, release that stretch. Exhale, press down, draw it back in. So we're going to get ready to add the upper portion, or the upper half of the body, we could say. I'm going to be working through my left arm. So keep my legs in this position for a moment. As I breathe in, the left arm is going to reach up overhead, and there's a natural desire to arch my back away from the floor. So I'm going to let my back do that. And then exhale. Arm comes back down and the back flattens into the floor. Inhale, lifting, back arches. Exhale, it curls. So it's the same movement for the spine, but we're moving from the upper half of the body. Inhale, arching. And exhaling and curling. All right, so now we're going to put it together. We're going to integrate the lower and the upper body movement. Inhale, lift the low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the left leg into your body. Inhale, extend the left leg and the arm. Feel the arching. Exhale, release the back and the left side of the body into the floor. Inhale, lift it. Exhale, release it into the floor. Inhale, lift it. Slide the leg in and the arm down. So it's interesting for me, and this is the kind of thing I mention it because you want to notice. The other one, I felt it more in my upper back and the first side, or the center of my spine, and now I'm really feeling it right down in my inguinal crease. So it's just things we notice within our own body. So that connective point in the lower psoas. We'll do another one. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the leg in. Inhale, extend leg, reach through the arm. Exhale. You can just let the back fall into the floor if you want. Inhale, lift the back, arch the pelvis. Exhale, release it. Slide your foot in and your arm down to your side. We'll do two more. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the leg in. Back presses down. Inhale, arm up overhead, leg extends. Exhale, release back into the floor. Inhale, lift the back. Exhale, release into floor. Slide your leg back in. Take your arm down to your side. Last one. Inhale, pelvic tilting, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, down. Oops, I forgot to bring the leg in. Inhale, lift low back, low ribs. Exhale, draw the leg in. That's what happens when you get relaxed. Inhale, extend the arm and the leg. Exhale, release into the floor. And inhale, lift. Exhale, release. Bring the leg back. Bring the arm down to your side. So I smile and laugh at myself as I do that and lose my place, because that's what this is about, is, you know, the psoas is the muscle of trauma. So allowing yourself to feel pleasure in your body is really important when you're doing these movements. Don't push yourself too far. And you can either stay here in constructive rest, or at this point it might feel nice to take your legs long. If in any way when you extended your legs you felt your low back pop off the floor, then what I'd suggest, it's time for Shavasana, for relaxation. So if you want, you can put blocks or bolsters or something underneath your legs, right, or pillow. I like to stay in constructive rest after doing that practice, so I'm going to stay here for a moment and go back to just nurturing and nourishing the psoas with my breath. So visualizing the connecting point right in the solar plexus. So this is the beautiful thing, is the psoas holds place in 3 of our chakras, 3 of our energy systems, the first being the Manipura chakra. And I'm connecting with that space in my body in the solar plexus. It's responsible for your digestion, among other things. And just be sensitive to that area. And the next space of awareness, I come down into my lower abdomen. This is the Svadhisthana chakra, your sacral chakra, and you can visualize it in the backside as your sacrum, your sacred sacrum. And feel this place. It's the element of water. So sometimes when I get into this space, I feel the need to just gently move, and not just my hips, but my head. Some really organic movement. So letting this idea of letting your upper body respond to the low body. And the Svadhisthana chakra is responsible for reproduction, among other things. And then we'll bring the awareness all the way down. Remember, rolling your sit bones into the base of the spine. Feel that space at the base of your spine. The Mooladhara Chakra, Mula meaning root. And that's how we connected ourselves energetically to that earth energy, and how we feel it through our bones right now as we allow the muscles to relax. Take as much time as you'd like and you need in Shavasana, keeping your awareness point in your psoas or in any one of these energy centers, the base of your spine, your sacrum, your lower abdomen, or the solar plexus. What I would ask you to do before you come out, before you finish your practice, a really nice thing to do for the psoas, is to roll to your side, in either side, whichever one you intuitively want to roll to, and curl your back into a fetal curl. Stack your arms however you need to, and just gently let your body rock. There doesn't need to be any pattern of movement. You can rock in and out of your body. Useful breaths. Again, I invite you to stay here as long as you'd like, and if this is more comfortable than Shavasana, this can be your space to practice, to stay at the end of the practice. But I will come up, feeling very glowy and nurtured. Thank you for practicing and honoring your sacrum, as well as your psoas and all these beautiful spaces in our body that help us to balance our upper body and our lower body. Namaste.